Let me start off with a story about when I was in the military and it was a cold winter. It was one of those annoying days where during the day it was warm enough that the snow was melting and the ice was melting so that everything got wet, all of your clothes got wet. Yet when it came night time, after you've been doing training the whole day and you're exhausted, now it's like minus 20 Celsius. You're shivering in a tent trying to get sleep. You maybe get 2 hours of sleep and then you go on guard duty in some ditch. And now you're shivering in your wet clothes trying to keep yourself warm at all costs. And you think to yourself, man, this sucks. And it does. But after experiences like that, now that there's bad weather, it's not that bad. I can just come inside and change wet clothes whenever I want. I can always come and sleep in a warm bed inside. I don't have to sleep in a tent anymore. I can do all these things that I took for granted before, I don't take for granted anymore. I actually enjoy a lot of things that I didn't even think about enjoying before. And so it got me really thinking, what are all the things that we simply take for granted that we shouldn't? I mean, if we were born 2000 years ago, we wouldn't have antibiotics. You couldn't just walk into a store and buy food. You would probably have to farm it yourself or hunt yourself. And if it's a cold winter, there's no heating in your house. You have to go chop some wood and make a fire. Or if you're born in the future, you might be born on Mars, and you would never be able to go outside and experience the OG planet of humans. You would have to wear some spacesuit that you don't have to wear now. You would never experience the rain hitting your face, even though we call rain bad weather. Yet there would be people on Mars who would give everything just to have a single drop of water go down on their face. So there's always going to be things that we simply take for granted, that we don't enjoy, that we should. And you can probably think of a lot of these things even yourself. And so when it comes to the problem of evil, it really makes us think that maybe we have to suffer. Maybe we have to live our lives as mere mortals with bodies that decay and who feel pain and suffering, and there's unfairness in the world, and we fail and we don't succeed in our goals, and we experience all kinds of bad emotions and things that we don't want to experience. But maybe that is necessary for us to enjoy the eternity of heaven. Maybe if we were born instantly into heaven, we could never enjoy it. The same way that we take everything in our lives right now for granted, we would take heaven for granted. And so the same way that there can be no uphill without a downhill, every hill is simultaneously an uphill and a downhill. Maybe there can never be good without bad. Maybe the Newton's laws of gravity work on evil and good as well. There is always an opposite force. So it makes you really think. Maybe we simply have to suffer for then us to enjoy heaven. Maybe this even explains the divine hiddenness. We have to be alone. We have to be in a place where God will not show himself to us. He will not come and help us in everything that we do. Because then eventually in heaven, when we can talk to God and when we can see him and so on, it will be so much better. And so this might be the only way that we can truly even have a heaven is if we first have a life as a mortal. And so when you think about it like this, that every failure in your life is trying to teach you a lesson so that in heaven you can do it correctly. In heaven you will enjoy the success even if you do not succeed right now. Every moment of pain that you feel will be infinitely more pleasurable when you're in heaven and you don't feel it. Every loved one that you lose and you feel like, man, I should have spent more time with them, and I should have called them a few more times. You will enjoy the time you spend with them so much more in heaven when you learn on earth that, hey, I should spend time with my loved ones. I shouldn't just take it for granted that they're always gonna be there. And we can only learn those lessons through suffering. And well, this comes into the kind of theodicy that is like the greater good theodicy, that eventually it will be better. And there is something to learn from these failures and from this suffering that is on earth. And of course, I can never know that if this is the exact reason why God allows suffering. But it's a good guess. And so if it's true that there is simply no way to have good without bad, the same way that there is no way to have an uphill without a downhill, then maybe this is the necessary steps so that we can have happiness, so we can truly have a better experience in heaven that would otherwise be impossible. But anyway, do you think this makes any sense? Do you think that there is a possibility that we simply have to have negative experiences for them to have us to have good experiences? And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.